The ideas, opinions, and arguments expressed in this podcast are that solely of the individual and do not represent any company, organization, group, or any higher authority. Enjoy.
It is Jorge with the review committee, and we're going to bring you our Media Offspring podcast right now. Today's topic is going to be everything TV related, or at least some things TV related. So we're going to get started. We're going to talk about some things that might hit close home with people. I know growing up we had shows that we watched, and now when we watch them, we get that sentimental feeling, the feeling to want them back, and maybe even at times want new episodes for them. So we're going to talk about all things nostalgia first. But before that, let's go around and introduce the people we have with us today.
What's up? Name's Yantzy Castro. What's up?
Hi, my name is Michael.
Hi, my name is Rex.
All right, so yeah, you got these guys. They suck.
Yeah, I know, man.
Yeah. All right. So let's just some general ideas. What is one show that you wish what is one show that you watch today and just get the feeling that you're just taken back to when you were younger?
Well, the obvious answer would be DBZ, but for me, it's DBZ.
Oh man, it's a difficult one. I think I'm gonna say Yu Yu Hakusho. Definitely. It's like I don't know. I feel like it's much better than your show.
Hey, it had a plot.
For me, it was Yu-Gi-Oh! Because every time you draw, it's like Heart of the Cards, Exodia, Obliterate.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Episode is not complete unless they say Heart of the Cards.
Heart of the Cards.
For me, I'm not really a nostalgic person, but if I had to pick one, it's definitely Digimon. Digimon is pretty close to me, and it's really weird because I appreciated the show for something completely different when I was younger. I like the escapism of it a lot when I was younger. Of course, I didn't call it that, didn't know the word, but that's what I appreciate. But now I look at it, especially the third season, which is my favorite season,
Still have to watch it.
and I feel that was just a good show that holds up now.
So now a question to bounce off of that would be, what show do you rewatch that, even though you liked when you were a kid, do you think was shit now?
Rocket Power.
Okay.
Can we get a reason for Rocket Power?
Yeah. When I look back at Rocket Power, I just keep seeing how dickish the characters come off, and it's like, if you're not into sports, if you're not into any of the things that they're into, then you're just nothing. And it just gave me a bad impression of like bullies.
Stop being a shooby.
Oh. Wiggly. I don't know. You guys are gonna not like me because Dragon Ball Z gang fighting. I feel like it justified one guy against 7 of them. I don't really like that.
Then when you do that in real life,
yeah,
your heart's barely beating. And you're like, what happened?
Yeah, that's why I think I like Yu Yu Hakusho much better because 1-on-1 always. And
one show that was for me was Pokemon. Well, Pokemon has some nostalgia points, but now it's completely shit because Ash is shit.
This hamburger.
So yeah.
Oh, for me, it was also Dragon Ball Z. I can't sit down and watch an episode of Dragon Ball Z right now. If I tried my hardest, I can't do it. Mostly because I realized over the years that Akira Toriyama is a really shit writer. People have to understand that he freestyled half of that show.
Especially after Cell Saga.
Oh, it was before that. Did you not see the 60 episode 5-minute fight between Frieza and Goku?
Goku.
Hey, that's that
Celebrate couple time.
yeah, there's so many
Coca-Cola. Coming to stores near you soon.
It's a new refreshing taste. No,
It is.
writers' convenience. So many writers' convenience. The Dragon Balls, the seed. What's it called? Simba seed. Sensobi seed.
Yeah, sensible.
Death has no meaning because you can just bring somebody back to life.
The major plot holes.
Yeah, I know for a lot of us, like, we all mentioned cartoons, which is
Yeah.
pretty funny. But how about live action shows? I know we didn't all watch cartoons when we were
Right.
younger. We also watched shows
Right.
that are just
Wiggles. I used to love the Wiggles when I was a kid. Saw an episode when I was older, and I was like, I was a fucked up human being.
Question. I don't think I remember this properly, but there was an American comment writer, right, that they tried to pull on WB11, right?
That was Ultraman.
That was Ultraman?
They did Ultraman.
Okay, that shit was ass.
So were most of the Power Ranger seasons.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, let's get that. Power Rangers is another one. Power Rangers, if I was to go with a show that I feel nostalgic for, that
Live action?
I can't. Yeah, that's live action that I can't really watch now. Is Power Rangers? I try to watch the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie when it was on Netflix, and it's funny because the main villain's name is Ivan Ooze, and Ivan's my brother's name, so we used to make fun of him for that. but trying to watch that, there were so many bad puns in the first fight of that movie that I just turned it off and said, I think I'm gonna go back to watching something that's actually good.
My boy Johnny Young Bosch.
He wasn't in that movie.
Not in that movie, but just Power Rangers.
Jason David Franks was.
One of the Power Rangers actually challenged CM Punk. Right when CM Punk walked out.
About the Green Ranger?
Yeah, he challenged CM Punk to a fight. Real life fight.
He would beat him.
Yo.
Jason David Franks is an actual fighter.
Yeah.
He would beat him.
So is CM Punk though.
Yeah.
Not as good.
Not the same weight class though.
Okay.
So how about you? Live action show.
Live action show that I like or don't like?
Don't like.
That you liked.
Okay.
But
liked.
but you can't really watch right now.
Man, which one was it? I can't think of anything right now. I mean, a show that I guess Just Shoot Me. You guys probably don't know about it.
I've heard of it.
Because I watch a lot of when I was a kid, I usually actually watch a lot of adult stuff like Just Shoot Me, Spin City.
Might want to clarify what that adult stuff is.
Oh, right. Adult like comedy shows, but it wasn't for kids. It wasn't for 10-year-olds.
There.
You know.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna throw it back to the old days. Teletubbies. It was it for me.
Yo,
When I was way young.
You watched that?
When I was younger.
Everyone watched that, but you don't want to admit it.
I didn't watch that. My mom was like, "Nah, man, take the Street Fighter game and play this." I had the Super Nintendo when I was 3.
Bro, I was like mad young.
They had that fucking Super Nintendo.
I never turned it
I
off,
was a
bro.
Sega boy. Fuck.
I didn't have a Sega, but you know, one show that was like that's really old that I could actually still watch today and say that it's better now than it was before. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yes.
In my opinion, one of the best shows ever made.
I could watch the reruns all day.
I could do that
Definitely.
too.
And they did the Color of Money very well. Like it doesn't matter you're black or white, money will change you. And
Yeah.
you see that with Carlton and his family, and they did that very well.
I think one of my favorite episodes of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was when he had the lottery ticket and he gave it off, or it went off to the butler, and it was just like the whole episode was just him trying to take back his lottery ticket, and it was just like, what would you do for greed?
I just love the episodes that pull on your heartstrings.
Yeah.
I just be like
Like the episode where his
take
father walks out.
yeah, that one.
Oh,
but,
man.
but
That
was a real moment
But for me,
between the
more
two
so,
actors.
it was the episode when Carlton took the drugs by mistake. Like, that was funny, but then it got really serious immediately afterward because Will just broke down, and it was awesome. It was
Mine had to be when Will took the bullet for Carlton.
Oh, that was another thing.
Yeah.
When Carlton felt like he needed to carry a gun around.
Yeah.
And Will was in the hospital and was like, "Stop that!" Great moment. Great series.
Yeah.
Too bad for his kids. They're crazy.
Too bad for his kids. # tweet like Jaden Smith.
The mirror is looking back at us.
realize.
Oh god. Okay.
All right, so segue off of nostalgia. Like nostalgia is referring to past shows that aren't around anymore. But there are shows that never really even got a chance to be nostalgic because they got canceled really fast.
Word.
So let's talk about shows that got canceled that you wish weren't canceled or.
After one season most.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go with the one season.
My top favorite was I was growing up in elementary school, and Titmouse was first coming out, and they had a show called Megas XLR.
Oh yeah,
That was fucking awesome, man. It was just like everything you always wanted. It's a fucking giant robot with freaking powered by an NES controller. It was a little awesome.
Oh,
that show was badass.
Yeah, that was badass. For me, it has to be like I have a thing for giant mechs. So yeah, for me, it's some symbiotic Titan.
Yeah.
It didn't even got like the whole season. It got like
20 episodes.
I got on, but it only aired like 6 or 7 episodes, which was really fucked up because they had a lot of like not like really adult jokes, but they didn't talk down to their audience, which was cool.
Yeah, you gotta appreciate when a creator like doesn't dumb it down or insult the intelligence of what their potential demographic might be.
The one that I thought was gonna last for me was the Tomorrow People, because that had kind of like a nice premise, but it was just executed badly. It was like the powers were poor, and like poor development, poor everything, poor writing. Yeah.
Huh? But you still wanted it to keep going?
I just want to see what happens. It ended in a cliffhanger.
Bad writing. Give it another season.
We'll get it right this time, guys.
I swear we'll get it right. For me, it's the show Jericho.
Heard about that.
Jericho.
It's an HBO show or not?
No, it was on.
Was it invented by
Sci-Fi?
Chris Jericho?
It was on CBS, which is surprising. CBS doesn't really cancel shows like that. It's not like Fox will cancel everything after one season if it doesn't get what they want.
CBS.
Yeah, but they had the show, and it's a post-apocalyptic show about a city where everywhere else is getting bombed, and they lose power, and they lose communication with everyone else. So they have to learn how to survive with the supplies that they have, and they go through some crazy stuff. And it's one of the single best seasons of any show that I've ever seen. And they did bring it back for a 7-episode second season that didn't do anything. And the last time I heard about it is that Netflix was trying to get the rights to the show to end it.
Nice. Wow, you're really keeping up
just
with
like
that.
Firefly, right? That's what
It's
Netflix did,
just
right?
like Firefly, just like Firefly.
Oh man, you're
That's
really
pretty
keeping up with it.
But Firefly was a hoax, though.
Was it?
Yeah, that was a hoax. That was just a rumor that wasn't really confirmed. I know people are so optimistic about Firefly because obviously that's another one. People love Firefly.
About my Megas XLR thing, like Titmouse is for over the years trying to get the rights back to Megas. They're trying to get the rights back to Megas, and while they're unsuccessful, they want Megas and they want it back, and they're doing anything to get it.
Anything?
Well, those guys are busy anyway. They got a lot of other stuff to do.
They got a lot of stuff.
So it's not like they're...
So now that we talked about shows that you'd want another season, what about shows that continue now that are long-running seasons that you think are shit and should not be continued?
There's so many popular shows like
There's
that.
a lot. There's a lot.
Doesn't matter if it's popular, just your opinion.
Adventure Time, kind of, because it's like Adventure Time started off really great, and then it just felt like after Pendleton just like stepped down and he's just like supervising, he's not really writing anymore.
That became forced?
Yeah, it's like he became forced, and it's just like you had this main story, and then you just do a bunch of side stories and you detract from the central plot, and it's just like it's just going on with nothing happening at the moment.
I don't know. I guess I have to watch the most recent episodes because I really like Adventure Time, especially all the dark stuff that goes underneath it, the apocalyptic world that they lived in. But
I just like that Adventure Time's a throwback to 90s slapstick humor.
right.
Yeah, that's what it does good. But if I want that, I'll just watch the regular show. Let's get it.
So, Mike, what's a show that you think should be canceled right now that's a long-running season?
Oh man, because there's so many shows that that I stopped watching, so I don't know if they turn out to be good. But apparently Arrow is really good, and all of you guys like it.
Yes.
But the first
it.
four
It has
episodes,
its problems.
yeah, the first four
Stephen
episodes,
Amell.
it was pretty shitty for me, and I couldn't watch it.
Well,
Mostly the dialogue.
Well, yeah. Let me say about Arrow. The weakest point of Arrow as a show is its acting.
Thank
That
you.
is
Okay.
its weakest point.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I was
without a
wondering
doubt.
if I was the only one that see like, especially the girl. She like
Which one?
they try to make her seem like a strong female character. It
So
just comes out.
Laurel. We only saw the first
Laurel.
4 episodes. So
Yeah.
Laurel, as you watch more, you'll see that she is like the second worst actor on that show.
Okay.
All right,
Oh, who's first?
her sister.
Oh, okay. So plot twist. She's alive.
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much.
Okay.
It's not. Nigga, it's over, Euro. Not spoiler. All right, let's get it. Nah, but yeah, it definitely has its problems. You got to bear with it for a little bit.
Yeah, that's the thing. I couldn't do that. And normally I do watch shows, but I I get that they don't know their character yet, and they're still trying to figure it out. Because I stick with Agent of Shields, and that was pretty much the same problem as having Agent of Shields.
Agents
The
of
dialogue.
Shield.
And,
Agents of Shield. They didn't know what the fuck they were
Yeah,
doing for
they
those
weren't.
first episodes. I don't think anybody knew what their character was aside from Coulson.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
the scientists, the two scientists.
The
They
two
held that
scientists
shit.
were on point.
They-
Actually, thank you, because that's the main
Yeah.
reason I feel like I kept on watching.
Their banter between each other,
Yeah.
like, their
Yeah,
dialogue
it was
is the
fun.
wittiest thing in the show by far.
But that's the same reason you like Spice and Wolf.
Well, but Spice and Wolf was all dialogue.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
the,
saying that this held them back. I mean, not held them back. Held them from getting canceled.
Well,
that people wanted to stick by because there were characters that they liked.
except they didn't get the focus. They didn't get any focus at all. They were in the background, got a couple minutes of dialogue. That's it, because everything was about Sky for the very first.
Oh, and she was the most annoying character.
She is the most annoying.
Oh my god! I mean,
Being cute can only take you so far.
yeah, and they were
And you end
overplaying
up
that.
like Britney Spears.
No,
Damn.
they overplaying that in so many shows. New Girl. I mean, they're all having that.
Don't hate on New Girl.
No.
That's my homegirl right there. That's my homegirl.
What's
The one that I hope it gets canceled is Teen Titans Go. Like, oh my god.
you say
They
that?
replaced Young Justice for that?
How can you
Come
say
on.
that?
Let me say something about Teen Titans Go. That show is hilarious.
It's
okay?
fun. It's
that
so
show,
much fun.
it's not.
It is.
You know, I think people's problem with Teen Titans Go is
Teen
that
Titans?
it's not Teen Titans.
Yeah.
It is. It's just not Teen Titans. The other thing is obviously it took off Young Justice, who had potential to be
Really great.
so great.
Yeah.
It was
No.
already great, but it had the potential to be like up there.
How are you going to live up to the expectations of Teen Titans, which is, most people would agree, it's one of the better done, I guess, superhero animated shows.
Yeah, and it was like another point. If you like follow and you listen to like all the cartoon press conferences and all that, the guys who did Teen Titans Go, they'd never seen anything about Teen Titans. They have their writers tell them stuff about Teen Titans, and then they just base jokes and stuff off of that.
Yeah.
And I think that pretty much pissed off a bunch of people.
But the jokes be on point. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it
jokes
is.
are
It is.
funny.
It'd be on
It is.
point.
The jokes are funny, and not only that, but they keep the humor of it, and they have the same voice actors.
Yeah.
so that's
Shout out
good.
to them for getting the voice actors. That
Tara
voice-
Yeah.
Strong, my girl.
Booyah!
Beats Boy.
He was even in Injustice.
Yeah,
man.
they even got it from
She's
Injustice. I thought that was a
awesome.
cool
Oh, man.
Easter egg kind of
Yeah.
thing that they did there. Oh, for me, the show that I think should get canceled already, Law and Order.
Which
Which
one?
one?
Law and Order.
Which one?
The regular one?
Roll a die and pick one.
SVU.
The one with
Because
Ice
they're
Cube.
all-
SVU is good.
I mean,
That's
Ice Cube.
different.
SVU is alright, and even that, you know what? They could all go. You know, they could all go. Law and Order is so played out. It's A B end of episode. A B end of episode. And I like the SVU try to go away from that and add more
Drama.
character
And they
centric.
kind of like goes into different episodes.
Yeah.
It did a crossover with Chicago PD.
No, I
too.
don't mean crossover. I mean
Chicago?
that.
There's Chicago.
What I'm saying is that it, like, something that happens in one episode, 2 seasons later, they'll revisit that. So it's not just A, B, C. It's A, B, D. Then they go back to C a few seasons later. They tie it back, and it's a whole story.
But what I'm trying to say is that it's formulaic in the
Yeah,
way
it
way
is.
they do it, and they stick to that. SVU is the only version of that show that never really that just recently started getting out of that. Benson is starting to get more character
Oh, yeah.
development. All of her partners are starting to get more character development, and I'm like, wow, it took you 13 seasons to get this right.
Well, I want to bring back John Justice. I just feel like you guys, people shouldn't blame Teen Titans for that, because Young Justice shouldn't be in the morning. It should have been in the afternoon.
Oh, no,
so
we weren't blaming
Teen
them.
Titans Go
oh,
isn't
no.
that?
yeah,
They
kind
were
of
just
just saying they
they
took
were
on
just
the time
saying that
spot,
that-
taking
it
the
took
time
its
spot.
That is a beautiful segue to what we have next. The
Yeah.
idea of ratings and how that
Right.
contributes to shows, whether they stay on or not. Because it's not always quality. We agree that good shows get canceled all the time because of poor time slots.
So the big two that I would like to bring up is, we all know one that's really fucked up right now, and that's Korra. Because, like,
Korra.
we all know that's, like, the big one right there. But he brought it up earlier, and it was one of his shows that he didn't want to get canceled, and that's Michael, that Symbiotic Titan. And that show got fucked up by time slots as well, because it was, like, it was in the morning, then it was in the evening. Yeah, it was. And then it was in the evening, and then it went to Adult Swim late at night, and then it went back into the evening. And it was, like, that mixed up with a bunch of other shit that Cartoon Network
How
did.
do you maintain an audience when you
Yeah.
keep switching time
Look,
slots?
that fucked up a lot.
It's well known. Fridays is a terrible day.
Yeah.
To put anything on TV. Okay, so if we look at the ratings for Legend of Korra, is what you mentioned.
Yeah.
The first season of Legend of Korra, right, averaged 4.5 million viewers every week.
Is it on Saturday?
It was on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. It was a
Yes.
Saturday morning cartoon, prime.
Yeah.
And then they moved it to Fridays at 8.
Whew.
And
Bad,
you
bad.
saw the ratings plummet to under 2. Under
Season
2
2 was
points.
also I think the worst season out of all of them.
We could argue that. Well, I'm not going to argue that one right now, but
Wait.
but the show wouldn't lose that many viewers because
Yeah,
the season
yeah.
was kind of slacking, because there were moments in that season
Right.
that were great, but I don't think the fan base would half the fan base would give up
I-
on the
I know
show
what you're
like
saying
that.
there, but I'm
so
just
so
saying.
it has a lot to do with that time slot. So that's a big deal there. And the other one is actually one that's going on right now that we see all the time, and actually has come up in the club for time. Constantine.
Yes.
It looks like it's about to get canceled because NBC decided not to order the
13 episodes.
Well, they didn't. They decided not to order the last 9, so we'll be a 13 episode season as opposed to a usual 22 episode season. And that's also due to ratings. It's a rating fluctuation that they're pretty nervous about because Constantine started out with over 4 million viewers for its premiere, which is pretty good for Friday. That's actually really nice. Those are competitive ratings,
especially for a new show, a new concept.
Yeah, and a comic book based show that doesn't have any mainstream following. Right. It works. Right. But the next week, that went down. They lost over 1 million viewers in the next week, and now they're starting to climb back up again. So, is it really wrong for NBC not to back these last 9 episodes, knowing that the ratings might never reach what the first episode was? Is it right or wrong? And that's what we got to look at.
I mean, I'm never going to be a businessman, but I mean, it's always good to take a chance.
You'd make a terrible businessman.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sometimes it's good to bank on something.
Yeah, I understand the idea of taking a chance, but when your numbers show decreasing profit,
right.
then
then
you kind of have to bank it in. And it's not like they don't have the option to order a second season. They can look at this 13 episodes, and if it ends on a good note for them, if they end on a plus, they could be like, okay, let's do a full season next time.
Not just that, they can also sell the rights to Netflix to continue it.
Or anyone
Netflix
else.
is really gaining popularity.
And that is another thing, that even if they do drop it, another company can come in, another network can say, hey, we want this. And they could take it. Look at Community. Community got canceled numerous amount of times, and has still gone through 5 seasons.
Yeah.
And the 6th season is going to come out. That's already confirmed.
Right?
I think at Yahoo.
Yahoo?
Yahoo.
So, yeah, I mean, sometimes I feel like people are hard on the networks because it's not their fault. It's the people who are not watching them. And it's like, how can you, like, scream at or be angry at someone or something that's intangible, like people who don't watch the show? So it's much easier to blame the networks for it. But yeah, I mean, not to say that sometimes it's not their fault, like putting a horrible time slot, like what they did with Young Justice again. Putting it at 7 or 8 in the morning, like that show is not a morning show; it's an afternoon show.
Its audience is not going to be awake.
Does DVR count to views? Or no?
Well, wasn't no, it doesn't. What was the time slot for Young Justice?
It was like 7, 8 in the morning.
It was really early,
and then it got changed to Adult Swim to late at nights.
But the problem is that when you keep saying that, no, hold on. But the problem is that it got switched there, but it was reruns. It was no new episodes. Same thing with Bionic Titans. It was not new episodes. It was just reruns. The show had low ratings, so they had to move it to a time slot that it didn't matter. That's why they put those shows that got canceled, but they're not making any more.
But reruns are important too, because it's like, if somebody's watching those reruns, doesn't that mean it's good for the show?
Again, reruns are just running advertisement for a show that's already been watched.
Yeah,
right. And not only that, but it's lower expectations with a time slot like a 3 a.m. in the morning. That's when it was put. Yeah.
Well,
so the ratings don't really like.
Yeah, it's. If you want to advertise a cartoon correct, Saturday morning is your way to go.
Well, then
anywhere
again,
from 9 to 11 is
that or like the old Toonami where it was like right after school at like 5 o'clock. Yeah.
That's where Cyber Chase and Dragon Tales used to be.
Oh my God, Cyber Chase!
We'll never be able to.
Oh my God.
We'll never be able to recreate that kind of time slot again. I don't think they'll ever push to recreate that kind of time slot again.
Especially with the way the internet is now.
I think Umizoomi killed it. What was that? That was called after Toonami, and then the other Toonami died.
Oh yeah, the one with the weird
the one with the
pod.
Chinese girl with the freaking tentacle alien thing.
Well, let's be correct. Toonami split up because these guys had other projects to do.
Yeah,
that was the reason. It wasn't because anything that the network did. These guys just had other stuff to do. Yeah,
Toonami did also got affected by the ratings as well. The shows they were putting in weren't doing so well, and they weren't getting rights for Japanese shows anymore.
Also, the redesign was horrible.
Yeah,
and while that might be true, they weren't canceled. They stopped.
The Toonami
they stopped because they had other projects.
That's
to go
actually
to.
pretty cool.
Obviously, because it could have been because they saw the trend of things that weren't going their way. Yeah. But Toonami people went on to work on other stuff in Cartoon Network and things like that. And so
and then April Fool's happened, and we got it back.
April Fool's was a funny day.
Yeah.
April Fool's was a nostalgia factor day.
Hell
To be quite honest, gave a random episode of Yu Yu Hakusho, and I was just like, Jesus. Like Yu Yu Hakusho on Toonami. I thought I'd never see this again.
You was having that freaking commercial torch. Ah!
Yeah. So you see Tom, I'm like, Steve Bloom,
oh.
you're back.
I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but there was a small community on YouTube. Now that I was a big part of it, but that people try to bring back Toonami. We called. Well, I was kind of part of it for the first like 3 months. So every Friday, like we call a specific time. The headquarters, we got the wrong number first because we ended up calling CNN. So they were like, "This is not the right number." But it's amazing how far people fold up, because it was from 2010 till no, 2009 to I don't know how long it was. So
2013.
a lot of people just stayed with it and they brought it back. So it's amazing.
Yeah, the outcry for the return of Toonami was a big deal. Big deal. Everybody wanted it. I remember seeing the movement for the Neo Toonami thing on online. People were creating their own time slot for their own shows. And one of the shows they put on was Gurren Lagann. And I find it funny that it actually made its way onto actual Toonami.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself like, yeah, this is awesome. This is really good.
Now I can only wish your panty and stocking.
I don't know when this topic's gonna come up, but yeah, shows with substance. I mean, Toonami is it's an Adult Swim at 12. Like, what's going on with shows that have no like real meaning or real?
All right.
Or shows that have finished.
So what Mike is getting into is our next topic, and that's the idea of what makes a show good. Like, what makes a show good or bad? Like, what do you? Because this ties into the cancellation thing. Because if a show is good, obviously people need to watch it.
Yeah.
But there's more incentive to watch it if you know it's good. It works both ways.
So, like, I can bring up my Megas XLR, my love for it. It's a good point because it's like, you need to have a fan base. That's the first thing, right? And you have to keep on track with your plot and what you're trying to go for. So, Megas XLR was just like, this is a fanboy's dream, right? And we're just gonna put these guys and these characters in these situations where you would want to be in. And I guess a lot of people, I don't know, I loved it, but I guess if I could look in through somebody else's eyes, they didn't understand it. They didn't understand it, and a lot of people just walked away, I guess. That's how I see it.
Yeah, we saw that it had a pretty loyal fan base. I'm not sure if the numbers are high for Mega XLR, but that fan base, you could call it a cult fan base if you want to, because we were at Comic-Con this year, and we saw the outcry for that.
Everybody was like, Megas!
Megas was a big deal.
Yeah. For me, shows that are a little more serious, that don't talk down to me. So a lot of shows that like that are no longer online. I mean, what's it called? Like I said, Symbiotic Titans. What else? Did I mention? John Justice. I mean, shows that really...
Just to clarify, the people who made Symbiotic Titan also made Samurai Jack, right?
Samurai Jack, yes.
Samurai Jack was another one because it was. And if it was
by the guys who made Samurai Jack, that means it's also by the guys who made Powerpuff Girls.
Yes, yeah, actually, I remember reading that. Preparing for this. I remember reading that. Yeah, they did Powerpuff Girls. Powerpuff Girls.
It's getting a reboot too.
They did so many things that went over your head as a kid.
Yeah.
You didn't realize too. And it's apparently getting reviewed. And I thought that was pretty cool. But I just want to go with Samurai Jack. Just focus on Samurai Jack for a second. Samurai Jack is a really good example of a passion project.
Yeah.
Because they took so good care of that product up until the end.
It was a beautiful show.
Yeah, everything worked together. And I remember Toonami, because it was airing on Toonami for a little bit, and I remember they showed the behind the scenes of the people making the Samurai Jack episode, and they talked about how each and every part of it was important to them, and how they decided to make it. It's more of a stylistic kind of way. It's not realistic. It's stylistic in that way, and how important the music itself was, and that's what really stood out for me. And that's what music set the tone for everything from beginning to end. And I think more shows like that really care about
pet projects.
Yeah, pet projects, because when you see the passion in what's going on, it reflects.
Look at the first Adventure Time episodes. Look at the first SpongeBob episodes. Look at the first Steven Universe. That's a pet project too.
Yeah. I mean, look at SpongeBob then, SpongeBob now. SpongeBob
Way
now,
different.
it's like they're just going through the motions.
Yeah.
They're just trying to bank on old ideas.
I mean, Adventure Times. I mean, like, I like it, but it's because they try to put some substance in it. Especially my favorite episode had to be the one where Finn just lost his arm and he's trying to kiss princesses. That was so deep because he's trying to fill that hole, that emptiness, and that's like what adults do. Yeah, that's what adults do with drugs or sex, and they try to. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if any of you see that episode, but it was like, wow, this for a kids show. That's like you're really trying to put it out there.
The show that I wanted to bring up was Gotham, because Gotham started off like a weak point. It was like bad, but then it started getting better and better. That's what I want to see in the show: improvement, like progression, more character development. They started focus on one character at a time instead of smashing every character into one show. Yeah. So yeah, Gotham made it.
Yeah, I love the idea of it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not about
The
the
ending is paramount.
ending. It's about the journey.
Not every starting point will be the best in
Right.
any kind of show or any kind of anything. Will be the best, but if you improve, it means a lot because
Look
the
at
fans
School
who
Days.
actually stood with you will actually know. Wow, okay, they did something. For example, which is the show that I will use as an example this entire time, Avatar. Because to me, Avatar is a lot of the things
The
that
Last Airbender.
it's
Not
the
the movie.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
no, it's Avatar the franchise, both cartoons, because they both have their high points and low
Yeah.
points.
Yeah.
Though for Avatar, their low points are still higher than most shows, but I won't get into
Yep.
that. But the idea is that Avatar is an example of what I believe, especially for animation, what every animated show should intend to be.
Yeah.
Don't play it safe. Be ambitious with what you do.
Be fucking edgy as
Their,
fuck.
their writing is airtight.
Not
and
edgy
they-
as fuck because you have to be able to reach off to the little kids as well as the older
Yeah.
ones.
Okay, and well, I lost my place. All right, so I think that every animated show should be ambitious with the way they approach even their animation, because Avatar tries to blend the whole 3D in sometimes, and a lot of shows have done it and failed. There's a very short list of shows that have done that before and actually passed. Ghost in the Shell,
Right.
that's it. And every other show just fails at it. So I like that they throw that in, and it never really looks cheap. And their writers themselves, when asked about the series, like, how did you come up with this? Because it's an idea that's not really, like, it's so different from everything else. They just said they wanted to make a show that they would watch. And even though it's rated Y7 and they're grown-ass men, they enjoy the series. And a lot of the fans for the series are older rather than younger,
Right.
because it's a little harder for the younger viewers to grasp a lot of the things that go on in the show, at least as a whole concept.
It takes more of an advanced attention span to understand everything that's going on, along with the lore of that
Right.
world.
Yeah, and that's the most beautiful thing about the series, is that they created this world, and it's so fleshed out, and everything coincides with each other, and that the world itself, to an extent, is more important than any one character that they've introduced. This is especially true in the Legend of Korra series,
Yeah.
where the series is more story-centric than it is character-centric, as opposed to The Last Airbender, which had character-specific episodes on almost every step of the way. So there was that difference between that, and I like that when they switched the series, they switched the entire feel of the series, but you knew when you were watching it that it was Avatar the whole time.
Yeah.
So I love that switch up, and I admire the creators, and they're going on to a different project after this,
Right.
and
You
I
know
will
what?
definitely be following them onto that, because they said they want to move on to something
Right.
non-Avatar related, which is
Right.
understandable.
Yeah.
But I trust these guys now,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I want to see what else they got to offer me.
Which means now they can really take a shot in the dark at something, because they have this fan base of people that follow them from Avatar. They can take a chance on a new idea.
Well, they took a chance with Avatar.
Yeah.
Who would have known that this would have taken off like that? But it became a spectacle,
Yeah.
and it became the biggest thing to ever show up on Nickelodeon.
I mean, you could argue that it's become one of the big three.
I think it is the big
Yeah.
animated show. This
Yeah.
is the animated show of this age.
This is
This is the Dragon Ball Z of now.
Yeah, this is the West version of one of the big three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have a big three. We just have a Legend of Korra.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what we have.
definitely
The big
true.
one, the main
And
one.
I don't
Big
think,
one.
and from what
Big
I've
one.
seen, there's no
It's all One
animated
Piece.
show touching what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
They're just on a different level.
Yeah.
They make mistakes. They stumble across the way.
Right.
Season 2, we've mentioned, but that was mostly pacing problems.
Yeah.
Not really story-wise problems. But they name a plot hole.
Name
Name a plot hole.
There's
They've
none.
gone 70 plus years. Name a plot hole, please.
I got nothing.
No, that's
I
true.
got nothing.
I just wonder if they're gonna be working with Nickelodeon again, because they have so many times, especially during
Nickelodeon
Korra.
is shitting on them.
So
Yeah.
so
But-
from what little I know about the
Dude.
networks, from what little I know about networks, from what I hear, it's Nickelodeon is what you get if you don't get into Cartoon Network. So from what I've heard, they wanted to get into CN, but they couldn't, so Nick picked them up.
I don't think Nickelodeon was the worst move for them, because when they
It's not.
first came in with the last Airbender series,
Yeah.
Nickelodeon backed them fully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After they sold the first season, and we go back to the point of not how you start, you finish. The first few episodes of Avatar were choppy, to
Really?
say the least. I think so.
Yeah.
They were good, and they established the world and what you had to do, but it felt more episodic than a complete show that tied in together.
It was more like the first season of Avatar. It was just like, let's see where this goes.
And more of like an introduction
Yeah.
to a book,
Yeah,
like that stuff that happens before the first
yeah,
chapter.
and then like as soon as you get away from the
Preload.
Water Tribe
Yeah.
arc, it was just like, here's the whole world.
Yeah, you got to see a little bit of everything. The characters got to be developed, especially Katara
Right.
and
Yeah.
Sokka got really good development. And then once season 2 started, though, I feel season 2 of Last Airbender is the weakest season in any Avatar season.
I noticed that happen.
at least it coincided with each other. They all it flowed and felt like one big story as opposed to episodic story after story. Like it's hard to balance that, but I'm glad that they didn't really go back to the hey, this is the villain of the day. This is the villain of the day.
Right. That's so
He's Azula.
That was Azula, the villain of the century. But yeah, we're going into that.
Next podcast.
Yeah, maybe next podcast. Well, we're definitely going to be addressing.
Waifu.
We're going to be addressing Avatar. When Avatar ends, the next podcast will be on Legend of Korra.
Yes.
Without a doubt, because it's something that
Because it's an important topic that
We must
something
cover
that you
it.
can actually cover to a lot of different. Like you can take a lot of different points from it. Like it could even tie into something we brought up earlier. What makes a show good or bad?
Is it an anime?
Well,
Is it an anime?
so if I want to, so at least for animated series, Avatar is what I look to with when I say what makes a good animated show. Is it perfect? No, it has some problems.
Everything
but,
does.
Yeah, but everything does, and its pros outweigh the cons by miles.
And Gurren had cons.
Gurren had.
Gurren
Lagann didn't care what cons were. that was his biggest pro, is that it didn't care about
I didn't
anything
care.
else.
But that fucking time skip in like the first 4 episodes was just...
Gurren Lagann
Yeah.
treated it as if there was no other show in the world.
Yeah.
That they did that as if there was no universe anywhere else, and I respected that.
And we'll just throw any universe we don't care about.
We would go a little bit more general, like even if we were to apply it to live action shows.
Yeah.
I like the idea of making characters that people can relate to.
Yeah.
Yeah, not only that, but my favorite part of the show it was that they did what happened after you beat the main villain, and how they all grown up, and the story just continues after that. It was pretty awesome. That second half, and that's amazing they were able to pull that off.
Yeah, the isolated arcs that they did in that show after Lord Genome, and then they went to the 7-year skip there.
Yeah,
it was pretty genius because that could have easily been bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to Rossio in the 7-year skip. He did his thing. I love him.
What a dick in the beginning, and then you find out.
He was a dick the entire way through, but I like him.
Johnny Young Bosch.
Sometimes that's the best characters.
Yeah,
Look at Barney Stinson. He's gonna live past How I Met Your Mother. The Barney Stinson character.
he will.
Complete
Oh,
asshole.
yeah, he's a fucking
He's a
sociopath.
guy.
What? He's legend. Wait
Dang.
for it.
He's a fucking
Very.
sociopath.
Yeah, he's that guy. I love him.
His character changed like towards the ending.
Yeah, I think that's another thing to bring up is the idea that in a show where you might be classified as one genre. How I Met Your Mother did this. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air did this.
Yeah.
Scrubs did this.
Oh, Scrubs.
Is the
Scrubs
idea
was
is the
the
idea
shit.
that they're
Oh
all
my God.
classified as comedy shows,
Dr. Cox.
but they all have
Dr.
really
Cox.
but they all have really strong
Yeah.
morals lied beneath it.
Yep.
If you think about Scrubs, after every episode, JD is narrating to himself the moral of the
Yeah.
story. So I think that's
Futurama was a
great.
good one, too.
And the whole student-teacher thing, how he was always under Dr. Cox, and then the final seasons he ends up teaching. Like he's teaching college kids.
Yeah, that's so fucked up that the fans killed the
Yeah.
other season. Like, what the hell is wrong with you guys? Like, it was for me it was my favorite characters, Dr. Cox, Bob Kelso,
Yeah.
and
The janitor Gordy?
Gordy-
he left. What's this dude? Shaved head, like dude.
Oh,
Turk. I mean, those were the best characters in the show. Yeah, I mean, like, why? What the fuck was wrong with the fans that they
It
kill
made
it?
sense because there wasn't much you could do left with him in that house.
Oh.
There was more they could do, but it made sense to have him go into a teaching position where he wasn't now under someone. He was, I guess, influencing others.
Yeah, the thing was they did that just so they kept the same
Yeah.
fan base.
Yeah,
but yeah, fucked up.
The 9th season, which should have never happened.
You didn't like it?
I didn't like it because to me it reminded me of a sports team by crippling it by getting rid of a lot of the star
Yeah.
players. I understand that. I
It's
understand.
like the Heat trading away their big
Yeah,
three.
these characters are good,
Right.
but they were good because they
Right.
had each other. Like,
The show was good because they're
by themselves. They really aren't that great. It's
Right.
just it's the interactions between
Exactly.
the characters that made it well. So when you take away those interactions, you change the setting. You're creating a new show.
People don't like change.
Yeah, people don't like change. I don't mind the change, but JD wasn't in it. And he's the main character of
Yeah.
the show. That's like that '70s show.
Oh, when they did
Eric
What
Foreman.
happened
When
that
Eric
guy?
Foreman left and Hyde was the main character for like 2 seasons.
It was like, what the fuck?
It was the worst, and it wasn't because it changed. It was because it, first of all, made no sense. Second of all, you're crippling the squad. Like,
no. Biggest example ever. Chappelle's Show lost season without Chappelle.
Oh, without Chappelle, right? And you had
What's funny? The Chappelle Show without Chappelle for a season was hilarious.
Yeah,
Like,
it
it was
was.
still funny. Wayne Brady, nigga, let's get it.
Wayne Brady. Yes.
Let's get it.
Chappelle's out in Africa, fucking peaches. And shit.
Africa.
Let's just hope that nigga don't
So,
come
yeah.
back with malaria.
And I think when you miss, even when it's two characters, especially for a show like Scrubs,
Yeah.
you miss a lot of the substance there.
I don't know. For me, it's like if it's the same writers, then I might give it a pass. But I guess I'm not, because another show that I really enjoyed is it's called Misfits. I'm gonna do a review on it later. But
That's that British show?
it's a British show.
You
yeah,
can check out our reviews at graphicnoveljj.wordpress.com.
Spicy.
yeah. I mean, it was really dark humor. It was really like taking a negative, taking a more realistic look of people with superpowers. Like they're not gonna run and try to save people. Like fuck that. They're gonna take care of themselves. And
Who would
do
save
that.
people? I would save people for money.
Right.
Or other
Exactly.
things.
So you know what I'm trying to say is watch Tiger and Bunny.
Oh, God.
Funny.
I gotta check that out.
Tiger and Bunny.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
For days.
Yeah, I'll plug Tiger and Bunny. Everybody to watch it. It is anime's take on Western style superheroes.
All right, I gotta
Or
watch
if you
it.
want to rule the world and see how it looks out, you should watch Code Geass.
No,
Spicy.
just throwing plugs in there because that's what you gotta do.
Right.
So we brought up something that I would like to go into deeper, and it was like when a cartoon fan base doesn't treat you like a child. And it was like, what other shows have done that?
Teen Titans.
Teen
Teen Titans.
That haven't treated you like a child?
Yeah,
That haven't?
yeah.
All right, let's clarify what treat you like a child is. Don't insult their intelligence like the first few Pokemon movies did.
Oh,
They insulted intelligence.
Like you restate the rules in the first Pokemon movie, but we've been watching this show the whole fucking time.
Hey, you have to for outside viewers.
Hey, it's funny because the first three movies did it, but the fourth one was awesome.
Which one was the fourth one again?
Celebi.
Yeah, Celebi was
Celebi was
Pokemon
Although
Forever.
Pokemon, the first movie with Mewtwo Strikes Back, is probably one of my favorite movies ever.
My favorite one is the
you know,
Lugia movie.
Mewtwo was a pretentious dick in the first movie. You know all the shit he was trying to spew. I was like, bruh.
He's trying to be like a fucking cult leader.
But the thing is, okay, that's one movie that you can look at it back and you can make fun of it. For me, at least, because the main point of it is the main purpose of the movie was like fighting is bad. That's like they were supposed
Like
to.
the morals.
Yeah,
Like
it's
when
supposed to be
you
the
see
main
the
right or
battles
wrong.
between themselves.
Right, and then what he does, and everybody's like, yeah, you know what? We shouldn't have forced Pokemon to fight another. It's wrong. And what happens at the end? Their memory gets erased. So, you know, everything they went through was for nothing. So that's one of the movies that, like, I enjoyed it, but totally pointless.
Sounds like the ending to the Conqueror Shambhala movie.
Yes.
Back to square one. You can check out our Fullmetal Alchemist roundtable discussion.
At youtube.com/theagentjaybird.
Oh, it also sounds like something else we talked about, like Sword Art Online. You
Yeah.
can also watch that.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Agent Jaybird.
I hate that show.
But no, my favorite Pokemon movie for some
We
reason
have to do
is
this.
Pokemon 2000. I don't know why.
Oh,
You know why I like that movie?
Why?
The ending song.
yeah.
Donna Summer, The Power
Yeah.
of One.
My favorite
Currently
Pokemon-
on my phone.
favorite Pokemon movie
You have it?
I have it on my
Oh,
phone.
man, that's
was
awesome.
the one with Darkrai.
I
ending,
I
though.
haven't
that
seen
one.
the newer ones.
My two favorite Pokemon movies were Pokemon Forever and the Pokemon Lucario movie. Those are my two
That-
favorites.
Lucario was
My
good.
two favorites are Pokemon 2000 and Pokemon Ranger and the Temple of the Sea.
Talking about nostalgia, how about everything that when the year 2000 was everything 2000?
Oh,
Everything
it's
was
because of the
2000.
big 2000 crisis that 2000 was so significant. The computers wouldn't be able to handle 2000.
Oh, the
Dracula
Y2K.
Dracula.
The Y2K.
Dracula 2000, Nimbus 2000, everything was 2000. It was just bring it back to nostalgia.
So like, what are some of you guys' favorite shows like back from 2000s to like 90s? Like mine's is Ed and Eddie.
Yeah.
Ed and Eddie is like one of the shows
This
that
just fucked with your
I can
mind.
just go back in and I can just love it. I just love every single part of it.
It's because the jokes then, they made as much sense as they
They
will
do
watch
now.
now.
I just love Rolf.
It ain't Ralph, bro.
Country
I
hobo.
out of
from
my
South
way, Ed
America.
boy. I loved it. You insult the son of a shepherd. He was. Like, he should.
You insult the son of a shepherd.
I think he should have been deported like 6 times in that show.
I think he should have had his own show with him being the only
man.
character. Everyone else is animals.
He's awesome. He lived in the cul-de-sac.
So like
Joel
this is-
Breakers, the size of moons and shit.
I'm gonna throw in a little fun fact here. It's that the guy who made Ed and Eddie, he's a pretentious dick.
was on crack.
I don't know, but he's a
They're
big
in purgatory.
He said, "Fuck people who think about that." By the way, and he also said, "I only made Ed and Eddie because I lost a bet and I had to make a children's show."
Wow.
That's the only reason why he made that.
Lucky us. We got to
makes
watch
sense. It makes sense because nothing in that show makes sense.
But Ed and Eddie's fucking hilarious.
It is.
It was.
I love it.
90s, early 2000s, 90s.
2000s, G
Favorite show.
Gundam. I mean, G Gundam was awesome,
Yeah.
especially when they
Mad
the
guy.
bodysuit.
I keep forgetting which one is that. Is that the one where he did the burning finger?
Yeah.
Yeah, burning finger.
okay.
You know, when I look at G Gundam, I always think of G Gundam as the first draft to Gurren Lagann, because it was like the first mech show that didn't give a single fuck what happens to anybody.
Flying in space, saving the
Because
girl.
it was more martial arts than you know.
Yeah, because they had the free motion in the robot.
Right.
That
It was really awesome. That's my favorite part, though. My favorite part was when they run that bodysuit and you can control it with your
You mean the wetsuit? They look like the bad guys from Metabots with the suit on. The guys with the rubber suit on.
It was weird though, because some of the moments when they transformed was a little, you know, especially when the girl transformed, like
Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon style, man.
it was like she
Transformation
was
Well,
super sexual.
My favorite part of that show was, without a doubt, the phrases that they used. This hand of mine is glowing red.
Burning finger.
Nah, I remember when he did the what was it? The shining finger sword. And he said, "All of my sorrow, all of my anger," and I was just like, "Damn, nigga, calm down." I was crying. It was hilarious.
That's true.
My favorite 90s and early 2000s was Hey Arnold. That
Arnold,
show was
yeah.
the best. Even though it had like the biggest plot hole, who's his Arnold's parents, they never explained it, but yeah, it was pretty good.
What about the fucking unibrow
Fun fact.
Helga?
Nah.
Fun fact about that. After the first Hey Arnold movie, they was gonna do another one about that.
But they never did.
But the guys said, yeah, we don't got enough funding, so.
That fact's not very fun.
Everybody knows who the best show in Hey Arnold was. Best character.
show? Oh, okay.
Best character in Hey Arnold was Eugene. This nigga would get hurt walking down the block.
It's me.
I remember he was like, "Hi, Arnold." He started waving, and the bus closed on his hand and took him with him. I was like, bruh. And I remember, I think there was an episode that he didn't get hurt at all. He's like, "I finally made it." Fell into a pothole. I was like, can't win them all.
There was another episode where that happened, I believe, and that was when he was doing the play. And he was like, "The play is a success. I did it without getting bad luck." And then the fucking stage just drops on him.
He made that show so funny.
Oh man.
Mine has to be Pokemon because I've rewatched the first two seasons at least 4 times. Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm rewatching again. I'm 70 episodes in. I started a week ago, maybe about a week ago.
A week ago.
21.
And I can watch that over and over, and I can still laugh at how stupid it is and how little sense it makes.
Those rules are broken.
Those
as
rules
fuck.
are broken.
The Pegasus rules. You could just throw out any monster and any amount of them. It's pendulum summoning.
Oh my god.
Eye of Illusion, most broken card ever. I do what I want.
Look at my dark illusionary castle. You cannot touch it.
Take
Or
control of your
Toon World.
monster.
Pegasus' Toon World was the most broken shit ever. You can't touch it. You can't touch my monsters because they're cartoons. They dodge your attacks.
Isn't that Toonception? Like they're cartoons within a cartoon.
Oh, Pegasus, you fucking
And
rich
somehow
bastard.
they actually made them look cartoonish in their world.
Yeah, it's kind of like One Piece expressions. They're cartoon, but they have really, really strong cartoonish expressions at times. Like when Luffy's jaw drops. It's hilarious.
How about you?
Oh, for me, if I had to pick one, I already said, well, Digimon would have been my first one because I just watched that over and over and over again. But if I had to go for another, it would be Rurouni Kenshin.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was the best show on Toonami forever.
It was like the most mature. I think it was the most mature show that they had at the time.
No, I thought Kenshin was just such a cool character at the time.
Yeah.
The idea that he's such a badass but chooses not to be a badass.
And then that backstory in those OVAs.
The backstory was great. The OVAs,
They had better art, man.
the OVA that set up the Rurouni Kenshin series was good. The one that was after the series was terrible.
I didn't see that one.
Well, how often do people say that? Oh man, OVAs are amazing for a show. Most of the time, the OVAs aren't critical to the story.
Gurren Lagann was an entire OVA.
There was movies.
It was.
That was an
the
OVA.
manga was made after the series was over.
Same
And the
thing with
manga
Kill la Kill.
sucks.
That's because Kill la Kill got an audience because of how fucked up it was. Like,
Now, Kill la Kill got an audience because
Gurren Lagann.
Gurren Lagann
Right.
carried that shit.
Right.
like how often in a show can you say one of the low points was a kendo stick rape
Going
scene?
up an ass.
Kendo stick rape scene.
He hasn't seen it, so
That's
he
what
doesn't know.
that's what draws people in.
No, I haven't seen that.
One of
either.
the low
Yeah.
points in Gurren Lagann was Kamina spinning a katana around his neck in the first episode.
That and his like how fucking long that sword was and how it changed.
Yeah.
Hey, you remember that one scene when he was sheathing it against Viral and it was just
My nigga Viral.
Viral was my favorite character.
What's next?
Yeah, so it was definitely Rurouni Kenshin. I just love that character. And it has one of the best arcs ever. Kyoto.
I can't remember much about that show.
Shishio. Yeah, it was Shishio, Mummy Man.
So anybody have any last points on the effect of, I guess, what makes good bad television and what we as viewers can do to increase I guess the value of the television we're watching right now?
For good and bad shows, it's basically to make a show good, you have to put love into it. You just can't just say I'm just going to do this and this is how
You
it's
have
going
to
to
care about what you're
You have to
making.
care about what you're doing. Unless you're the guy who made Ed and Eddie.
Yeah.
But yeah. And also you have to work with the company you're with. Like I'm gonna bring up a wrestling story and that's Mick Foley. And he got some of the worst gimmicks, I believe. But he made them work because he talked to Vince.
Because he was a company guy.
Yeah, he
That's it.
talked to Vince. So be Mick Foley.
Yeah.
Talk to your company. Work around whatever they want you to do and make it work.
Mick Foley also played a very popular character in the Avatar series. The Boulder!
It's conflicted.
The Boulder is conflicted about Mick Foley's role in the series.
Oh man. Oh,
And
that's
what was the second part? What was the second part?
Oh, what we as viewers can do to increase the value of the television we're watching right now.
Watch what you want to watch. Don't even look at other shows that you don't want to, because that is one of the only ways that you can show
And talk about the show.
and talk about it. Go on forums. Go do whatever you have to do, and also don't buy DVDs and Blu-rays and shit of the shows that you hate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say if the
No,
ones you
support the shows that you want. Buy them. Yeah.
Okay, for me, it has to be like, I don't like. That's a hard question because what the fuck? Why do people watch shows and why do people what do
Well, this
good
is a
shows
personal
stay?
opinion. That's what I'm
for
saying.
me-
It's a personal. So why do you watch a show?
Why do you
Oh
watch
yeah,
the show?
I like to be challenged. I like to learn something from it. I there's some shows that I like Teen Titans Go and
Where it's
they're
just you're just gonna
mindless,
sit down, relax,
yeah,
and just
yeah.
get indulged
But
in.
again, it has to be done for me. Like very funny and made a lot.
And the Teen Titan Ghost skits are only 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But I want something that has some kind of morals. I feel like that's something that is missing a lot in TV shows. Things that have some kind of lesson, and I guess we have to get people to watch it because I feel like it's going out of style apparently. Because most of the shows now is like
Everything's
endless
online.
entertainment. No. Most of the shows, their theme is just endless entertainment. There's nothing meaningful in it.
Right.
It's just like just to shut your mind off. And
What? Oh, sorry, but one of my favorite shows going on right now is Clarence. Anybody heard of that?
Nope.
It's a really good cartoon, and it's like it takes point from the viewpoint of a kid.
a chicken.
It's really good. It's from a viewpoint of a kid, and it just it's just natural good. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just
It's an anime though, right?
no. It's a cartoon on Cartoon Network.
Really?
And it shows viewpoints like, and it can be funny, but it always has like a moral at the end of the story. And it's also one of the only shows that's had a gay couple on screen.
This is exactly what we're talking about. You have to talk about the shows you like if you want to get people to watch them. Because if you like it and you talk about it like you like it, then people will see that and try it.
Yeah.
And maybe they might like
Right.
it.
No illegal,
and that's it.
watching in websites. Illegal websites, legal streaming, basically.
Yeah, illegal streaming.
Piracy.
Piracy.
And my thing is that if you want to spread the love for your show, go on social media and like tell people to watch, like what Mitch did. He told everyone to watch Constantine because it wasn't being
It wasn't
canceled.
Mitch. It was the other.
No,
It was
Matthew.
Mitch is,
Matthew.
Matthew
it was
was the
Matthew first, and then Mitch really brought it up because
okay.
it's something that he
So
was
if we
strongly
could,
felt about.
if we could tell everyone to watch Constantine, it's eventually gonna get saved.
Basically, you want to talk about the show as much as possible to make people unfriend you.
Plug that shit in. Plug it anywhere you can plug it into.
Right.
Well, for me, I guess what makes a good show is just that it's a show that no matter how stupid it is, how much little sense it makes, you still watch it over and over because it makes you feel good watching it.
Cool days.
Exactly.
Bruh.
It might be the most fucked up show ever, but if you can appreciate it for how fucked up it is, then it's good. But also what we can do as viewers to increase the value of it is don't be afraid to voice your opinion on what you feel. Even if a show is bad, you write bad reviews about it. Review shows. Like we do in the review committee. And so, like, don't just skip over when you see a show that says, oh, rate this show on 1 to 5, and you go, nah, I'm just going to X it out. Rate that shit 0. Make sure they know that you hated it.
What if he didn't hate it?
Then you rate it a 5, and make sure that you tell
Fuck
them
the
it was
other
a 5.
numbers.
Make sure
0
you
and
tell
5.
CW that most of their shows suck.
0,
Did I just
0
say
to
that?
5. That's
It's okay. They'll just rename their cartoon block again.
yeah. They even have a name for it at this point.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
They used to be the Kids WB.
And it was the cartoon Typhoon, and then it was the cartoon Ninja.
Yeah, for me, one of the most important things is something that Yantzy brought up is the idea of love what you do. Love that show. Well, that's what makes it good. If you love what you do, it's going to reflect on the people who watch it. Trust me. If you're only doing it for money at a certain point, then we will get that vibe. I guarantee you. Viewers are not as dumb as people believe they are, and if they're active watchers, they will notice this.
Right.
That's the first thing. Second of all, if we were to talk about what's actually in the show, characters. A nonsense story can be legendary if the characters are amazing, or at least something you could cling on to.
Right. And Eddie.
A character that's relatable.
Agent and Shields, the two scientists.
Exactly.
Two scientists, we cling on to those guys,
Yeah.
right?
And you hope for something to happen with their character, and it did. They eventually got more
Those are
screen
my
time.
favorite
If we're
characters.
talking about
on Agents of
continuity,
S.H.I.E.L.D.
make sure the things that you do follow the logic of your own show.
What other
Especially if you have no logic.
If you have no logic, then make sure
Embrace
it's
that
make
shit.
sure it's consistently logical.
Illogical.
Coolly.
Fooly Cooley, and Gurren Lagann consistent with that. And I also
Or
appreciate
Ghost Story Stub.
I don't know. There's some deep stuff in Fully Cooley though.
There is.
And of course, if you're gonna do writing, airtight, limit the plot holes.
Yeah.
What we can do as fans, cut down the illegal watching, people support the industry and support those specific shows that you want to keep going, because if you're watching your show every week through an illegal site and it gets cut off, that's your fault.
Even if the show, you can't find it legally, support it by buying products of the show.
Yeah.
Make sure you represent that show.
I know people are broke, but I'm on Hulu and I'm on Netflix and I'm
Yeah.
watching all my shows through that right now.
Yep.
Literally, I have people on my Crunchyroll. I have 3 people that aren't in my family using my Crunchyroll account because they're cheap. They're broke as fuck. But you know what? That's how you support shows.
I gotta get myself a Crunchyroll.
Yeah, I need Crunchyroll.
That and a Funimation.
Everyone needs
the
a
biggest
Crunchyroll.
thing people need to remember is vote with your wallet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Only spend money on things you genuinely want to see more of.
Yeah.
It happened. Funimation is actually one of the biggest keys to this. They're not really on TV, but you know they have
Well, don't they have their own channel?
Yeah.
They have their own
There's
channel.
Funimation channel, right?
Yeah, they also have a YouTube channel.
I know
where
they have
run-
their YouTube channel. They give like first 4 episodes of series and stuff like
Sometimes
that.
they have the full rest of the season.
If it's old enough,
Right.
I believe.
And then rewatch it. Even if they give it to you for free, rewatch it.
YouTube views count, man.
Yeah.
Just do anything. Give
They
them
make
Like
money
those
off
shits.
that.
Like
any
those
incentives.
pages.
And I
Like those pages. Spread it around.
It was never clearer than when Fairy Tail was coming out in English.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a hard
piece
time
of-
getting out.
It had a hard time. After the initial 48, it took them forever to get the next episodes.
What about Attack on Titan? The only reason that show gained so much popularity is because people never stopped talking about
And now
it.
it's reruns.
Funny bought
Yep.
that shit. Funny
The
bought
thing
that
is with
shit, and they were
Attack on
like,
Titans,
Well, if you really want to talk about
if
word,
it's finished, why not
Word of
just
mouth?
expose
if
another
you want
show?
to
not
talk about
finished.
spreading things by word of mouth, there's no better example in 2014 than Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy is a big one.
Because if you look at the amount of money it made, first week did great, second week
Second
did
week,
bad,
it did
and
bad.
it went
And then it
up
went back again.
through
Look at-
word
and
of
then
mouth.
When you look at the advertisement, they didn't advertise it as much as they did Avengers, and yet their advertisement
Yeah,
was
that's
free because it was from every single person that saw it.
Yeah,
Talked
that's
about it.
understandable.
And now that
Avengers
trailer-
was their
Yeah.
big movie when it came out.
And now that trailer is fucking legendary.
Yes.
It is legendary. Now that soundtrack's being sold on cassette.
It was here for free.
Yeah, so word of mouth is strong too.
Yeah.
Spread the word. I do it in the club all the time. Watch Tiger and Bunny, guys.
Watch the
Tiger
review
Bunny.
committee, you know.
Yeah, you know, just read our reviews, watch
Read
our
our
reviews,
WordPress.
and you'll know good stuff to watch, or maybe stuff to stay away from.
Yeah.
You never know.
Go to JJ Bird
The Agent Jaybird.
or go to XD Angelic X. I'll start putting reviews myself.
So you see this.
But But see, this is what we're talking about. This is how you get a show to continue. You love a show, you talk about it, people see that you love it, and that's how you spread it.
Yeah, and it also helps when the actors themselves like what they're doing.
Yeah.
And also, because if you see Constantine, guys like, please save
He's
Constantine.
like, please save it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, there are shows like that. Like Stephen
I don't
Amell
wanna be
is in love with the
unemployed.
character of Arrow.
Steve Blue loved Cowboy Bebop when he came out.
Of course. Steve Bloom just loves animation. That guy just does what he does. You got to be Wolverine, damn it. When you got to be Wolverine, it's a big deal. It's a big voice to get. And that's what happens. So that's what I think people should do. Support with your wallets, people. Goes for video games, too.
Yeah.
Let's leave that as the last word of the night. Support with your wallets.
Yeah.
Peace out, everybody.
Love